Hello there, welcome to Morsal Technologies. In this video, I will go through how you can create and manage shipments, invoices, and payments. Let's get started. You come here, shipments, and then you click on new shipment. So here you have two options. You can enter the customer details here if the customer is new to you. If the customer already exists in the system and they have already worked with you, you can select them from here. You can just type out their name. Let's say this one. So once you click, the details will be filled out there. So for shipment type, we have two options. There's the sea shipments and then there's air. Let's go with air for now. Origin, these are the locations where the shipments come from. Let's say Dubai in this case. By the way, these locations are not static. They can be entered from the settings here. So it's completely customizable. So next thing, we can add the number of items, let's say 20 items, and then the weight of that, let's say 250, for example. So here, how much are you charging per kilo? Let's say 15 maybe. The currency here, you can either choose USD or Kenya shilling. Let's say USD, for example. And then this is the exchange rate that you're using here. You can update it, it is customizable. So the next thing is, are there any extra charges that the customer has to pay? For example, we have storage. Let's say for here it's $30. You can update it if you want. And these charges that you see here can be added from here in the settings charges. So that one is customizable. This is not fixed. We can also add handling charges, for example. So next, the invoice number. This is auto-generated. You can update it if you want. Waybill number. Let's set it. Then flight number. So the way the system works now is for every flight, all the invoices, all the shipments that come through that flight are categorized together. So providing a value here will help you put invoices together so that you can see in this flight we brought this many goods, we have made this much from it, we have used this much money on it, we have made this profit or loss on that flight. You can see for each flight which customers have paid, which customers have not paid. Let's say flight 7, for example. Then if the customer has prepaid something, you can add the amount here. If not, you can skip it. For this invoice, you can see the summary here. This option here allows you to send a message to the customer immediately. You press the save button. An SMS will go out to the customer telling them that you have received their goods. So for example, let's say you are sending the SMS and then we save. So once we save that invoice, we can see a summary here. The customer details appear here. You can see the item information. You can see the charges that applied to that invoice. If the customer makes any payments, we will see them here. If the customer collects the items, we can record a collection by pressing this button, and then we can see who collected the items. If there are many items, how many were collected, how many were remaining, and so on. And then here the history section for this invoice. Throughout the lifetime of this invoice, you will be able to see what happened to it. If someone changes anything, you can see their user there. If someone records a payment for this invoice, you will see it here. So this is kind of a history, an audit log trail for this invoice. Here you will find more information like currency, the type of the shipment, how much have you charged per kg, the exchange rate applied, the waybill number, and then we have the total summary here, as you can see. So let's say we want to print out this invoice. We come here, we click on print, and then we have the invoice. You can print it out or you can save it as a PDF, whichever option that is available for you. So the invoice printout is customizable. We can put your information here, the phone numbers, the emails, the logo, and so on. And then it lists out the charges that apply to the invoice, the quantity, the weight, and so on, all the usual stuff. So in this case now we don't have a pay bill showing up, but for your account we can set up a pay bill number that can be put here. And then let's say delivery note. If you deliver the items to the customer, you can click here. You can put a description on the delivery note. If not, you can skip it. For example, let's say the items were delivered. This is, you can skip it. It is optional. But if you want to make it customizable to your own needs, this is where you do it. So click OK. And then we have a printout of the delivery note. So this is the description that we just typed. It's optional, as I said. So the quantity that was delivered and the weight, the recipient of the items that are to be delivered, and so on. And then you can sign this information once you deliver them. So let's say this customer now, they have to pay $3,830. Let's say they pay, so we come to the invoice, record payment. Let's say they don't want to pay in full, they can pay maybe a part of it, $1,500, and then we put the receipt number here. Currency, the currency they paid with, for now let's say it is USD. We have the exchange rate, you can update it. If they pay at any of your locations, you can pick the location where they paid. And then the payment status, for example, let's say this was a check payment and it has not cleared yet. That's when you do not cleared. But if it is cash or M-Pesa, you can just say it is cleared. This is a payment method. You can select how they paid. So this section here now, let's say you want to send a message, as an SMS message, acknowledging the payment. You can just tick here, and then this is the message that the customer will receive based on the information that you entered above here. If you want, you can change this to anything, change whatever, but you can leave it the way it is for now if you want. If you don't want to send an SMS, leave it off. And then you save. So that payment record has been saved for this invoice. That is $1,500, given the exchange rate of 120 that we entered. The Kenya shilling amount here is 180,000. And then you can see the balance now after having paid $1,500. The balance will be $2,330. Yeah, so okay, recording collection, same thing. Let's say the items are collected. You enter the details of who collected it. If it is the person who if it is the customer himself who is picking it, the information is populated. If not, you can update this information. You can enter the phone number of the person who collected the items, and then you can enter the name. You can also select that person from the system. If that person exists in the system, you can search them here like that. Let's say let's say the customer themselves have picked items, and the quantity they picked, this will be in full. If they pick half of the items, you can enter that, but let's say they pick the whole thing, and then we can add a description if you want. All the items are collected, then we save. So we are back to the invoice. We can see the items were 20, the collected quantity is 20, the remaining quantity is 0, and the collections will appear here: who collected the items, how many items were collected, the description, what time was it collected. You can find it here as well. Okay, so this invoice, we are almost done with it. You can, if you want to make quick edits, you can click here, you can change a few things. Maybe you want to add another charge, for example, let's say some other charge here. If you want to change any of these items, you can do so. Just click on update. So right now we have added some other charge, which is here, some other charges. Yeah, here it is, some other charges. So now this gets added to the total of this invoice. Yeah, so we are done with adding invoices. Next, let's say we want to see all the invoices for a given flight. So we go to shipments. If we are dealing with air, we can go to air shipments. If we are dealing with the sea shipments, we go there. So let's say we go to air shipments, flight 7. This is the latest flight we have. So that is the one that's automatically picked up. If you want to pick a different flight, you can go to filter, and you select the flight you want from here. Also, while we are here in the filter options, you can filter by the locations where the items are coming from. You can filter by the type. You can filter by the status. If you want to see all the invoices where items were not collected, you can filter here. If they were partially collected, if they were all collected, you can find that information there. So let's say we have flight 7 here. This is the summary for that flight. These are all the invoices in that flight. You have the waybill number, the customer name, the rate you charged per kilo. In this case, for this invoice, the weight is 50. The charges that apply to each invoice, a summary of the totals in USD and Kenya shilling, the exchange rate that was applied, the number of items, the original location, and when it was recorded in the system. So that's the information we get for each invoice here. And then down here we can see the summary, the number of shipments, the number of invoices, that is the total weight in that flight, the total amount of money you expect from that flight in dollars and in Kenya shillings, and the total expenses. I will show you how to add the expenses for each flight, and then the balance after you deduct total expected from total expenses. This is going to be your profit on that flight. And then all this information here, you can export them to Excel. Just click here, you get this information in Excel. If you want to edit any of these, you can just tick here and then you click on edit. If you want to delete, you can tick anything you want, or you can select all of them and then you click on delete, it deletes them. So that is it for the flight summary. Next, let's see a summary of the payments. We go to payments here. So in payments are automatically sorted by month. So if you want to see a certain month, you can go to filter there, and then you select the time you want. Let's say you just want to see all the payments that are recorded today, yesterday, this week, this month, this year. You can also see for the whole of the duration of your existence, all time. You can also choose a date range from this time to that time, and so on. And then you can filter. You can also filter by location. Let's say the payments, some of them were paid out in Dubai, some of them in India, and so on. Depending on where they were paid, you can filter them. You can filter them by whether they are cleared or not cleared, and so on. So once you are here, you can see the customer name, the amount in Kenya shilling and USD, the receipt number, location information, the status information, the time they were recorded. You can also edit the payment, and you can also print a receipt for the customer, the payment receipt. So again, this logo here, it can be changed to your own logo. All these designs can be changed, and then you see a total summary here, and then you have an option of marking payments as either cleared or not cleared. For example, if I tick this one and then now it's cleared, I can mark it as it's not cleared, and then you can see it has changed. Let me mark it back to cleared, and now it's cleared. Okay, so we are done with payments. Let's go to clearance. So clearance is when you have a shipment that has arrived maybe at the port, and then you need to get it cleared. So maybe there's someone who is there for you to clear it for you. So that clearing agent, here you will find all the clearing agents you have worked with before. You can select one if you want, and then now we have selected Janet. We have that form has gone. Let's say if we want to select another one, if you want to like enter a new person, you can enter the details here, their phone number, their name. But since we already have one here, let me use this one as an example. And then we can say for flight 7, for example, the weight was, let's say, I don't know, 200 kg, and then per kilo, what they charged me to clear, let's say maybe $10. If there are any other charges, we can add them here. Let's say they charged us an extra $1,000. You can add a description here if you want, and then we save. So that is how you can have a record of how clearance was made. So this is the last one we just entered. You can see that flight 7, the weight was 200, the rate is 10 per kg, other charge is 1,000. So total amount is calculated from weight times the rate per kilo plus other charges. So this is 2,000 plus 1,000. So that is what gives you 3,000.
And that's it for this video. We will add more videos on more functionalities and features. Please reach out to us in case you have any questions. If you need this system, reach out to us. We will be happy to work with you on a system that works best for you. We will be customizing it to your needs. If you need more features, we can add them. Thank you so much.